you. Thank you for watching. Today we are going to go through the data modeling module from the admin beginner trail. You can find it through trailhead.salesforce.com. Go to learn, go to trails. Loading a bit slowly, unfortunately. Go to admin, go to beginner. And there you can find the admin beginner trail. You can also search for data modeling and you can find the model there. So now that we got this coverage, let's get started. Understand custom and standard objects, learning objectives. After completing this unit, you will be able to describe the perks of using objects on the Salesforce platform, explain the difference between standard objects and custom objects, list the types of custom fields an object can have. Overview of objects. Dreamhouse is a realty company that provides a way for customers to shop for homes and contact real estate agents online. Dreamhouse brokers use some of Salesforce standard functionality like contacts and leads to track home buyers. But when it comes to selling houses, there are a lot of things they want to track. For example, Salesforce doesn't include a standard way to track properties. How is Dreamhouse supposed to know which homes they have for sale or how much each home costs? Luckily, their Salesforce admin, D'Angelo, knows what the Salesforce platform offers a solution. We'll work with D'Angelo to see what he is building. Let's start with a data model. A data model is more or less what it sounds like. It's a way to model what database tables look like in a way that makes sense to humans. If you're not familiar with databases, think about storing data in a spreadsheet. For example, D'Angelo can use a spreadsheet to track all Dreamhouse properties. Columns can store the address, cost, and other important attributes. Rows can store this information for each property that Dreamhouse is selling. Database tables are set up in a similar way. You can see the Excel spreadsheet here with the property name, price, bedrooms, and so on. But looking at data in tables isn't ideal for humans. That's where the data model comes in. In Salesforce, we think about database tables as objects. We think about columns as fields and rows as records. So instead of an online account spreadsheet or a table, we have an account object with fields and a bunch of identically structured records. You can see the property name here and all the details in form of fields here, and also the owner and the creator, which is D'Angelo. When we talk about the data model, we are talking about the collection of objects and fields in an app. Let's learn more about objects and fields so you can start building your own data model. Get to know objects. Salesforce supports several different types of objects. There are standard objects, custom objects, external objects, platform events, and the big objects. In this module, we focus on the two most common types of objects, standard and custom. Standard objects are objects that are included with Salesforce. Common business objects like account, contact, lead, and opportunity are all standard objects. Custom objects are objects that you can create to store information that's specific to your company or industry. For Dreamhouse, D'Angelo wants to build a custom property object that stores information about the homes this company is selling. Objects are containers for your information, but they also give you special functionality. For example, when you create a custom object, the platform automatically builds things like the page layout for the user information. Create a custom object. Let's work alongside D'Angelo to see how he builds a property object. When we need this object later, so we don't skip these steps. Scroll to the bottom of this page. Click the arrow next to launch and select create a Trailhead playground. Don't skip this step. Okay, we're not going to skip this. Let's go down there and launch the playground. Once your playground is created, it takes a minute. Press launch, click the gear icon at the top of the page and launch setup. Click the Object Manager tab and click Create Custom Object. Okay, let's see if this loaded already. Let's put this into split screen. There we go. And I just need to find the object manager. Oh, we have it there. And we create a custom object. Label is property. And the plural is properties. And we are supposed to check this box to launch the new custom tab wizard after saving this object. Okay, it seems I already created this. That's why there is this error. So let's name it something else, property 1. So I can go through everything together with you. Now we have to choose the tab style here. So let's just choose the first one, airplane, for sake of ease. And we leave everything as it is and we save it. Great job! You just created your first custom object. Now let's talk about adding fields to the objects. Get to know your fields. Every standard and custom object has fields attached to it. Let's get familiar with the different types of fields. Field type identity. What is it? A 15-character case-sensitive field that's automatically generated for every record. You can find a record's ID in its URL. Can I get an example? An account ID looks like this. So it's hard to see here, but it's like shown here. And field type system, what is it? A read-only field that provides information about the record from the system, like when the record was created, what was created, or when it was last changed. Can I get an example? Created date, last modified by ID, and last modified date. field type name, all records between names, so you can distinguish between them. You can use text names or auto-numbered names that automatically increment every time you create a record. Can I get an example? A context name can be Julie Bean, a support case name can be CA-1024. Custom fields, you create a standard or custom objects are called custom fields. You can create a custom field on the contact object to store your contact's birthdays. Identity, system, and a name field are standard on every object in Salesforce. Each standard object also comes with a set of pre-built standard fields. You can customize standard objects by adding custom fields, and you can add custom fields to your custom objects. Every field has a data type. A data type indicates what kind of information the field stores. Salesforce supports a bunch of different data types, but here are a few you will run into. Checkbox for fields that are simply yes, no. I think we did that in the first training. If you have seen the video, a checkbox fields is what you want then, a date or date time. These field types represent dates or date time combination, like birthdays or sales milestones. Formula, this special field type holds values that's automatically calculated based on a formula that you write. For example, D'Angelo can write a formula field that automatically calculates a real estate agent's commission on a home sale. Interesting. Again, these are quite a few field types, but most of them are fairly self-explanatory. The important takeaway here is that you want to think about what kind of data you are trying to store when you create a custom field. Create a custom field. The property object we just created is pretty bare bones. Let's add some custom fields to it. Head back to your playground. We still have it open. From setup, go to object manager, property, we still have this open. Then in the sidebar, fields and relationships. Notice there are some fields in there. There's a name field, some of the fields we talked about earlier. That is correct. Click new on the top right, so I think. I'm not really sure if this is going to work in the split screen view. Yeah, there we got it. And we can't see anything. I'm not sure if it's loading. Probably loading slowly. Yes, it is. And the data type is supposed to be currency. Click on next. And the field label is supposed to be price. List, now you're just gonna copy and paste this here. The listed set price of the home is supposed to be the description. Check the required box. Always requires a value in this field in order to save a record. This is supposed to be mandatory. You will see a new price field in the property fields. Now I still need to go through the security level stuff here, and we're just gonna save it like that. And then now we have the price field here, and it's with underscores here. The underscore C part is an easy way to tell that a particular field is a custom field. Alright, so they always add the underscore C to show that it's custom. Create a record. Let's create a property record to see what you did. From the Apple Launcher, find and select sales. Let's see, salesperson. view. So we have that open here, I think. And in the Properties tab in the navigation bar, if you don't see it, look under More. So we should find that here. That's correct. Actually, I need to reload this. It's supposed to be Properties 1 because for some reason I already went through this. So let's do this again. There's a Properties 1. There, we got it. We're supposed to go New. Property name. Let's just copy what's there. 3711 West Elm Street. And the price is $425,000 US dollars. It's euro for me because I'm in Europe, and aside from that it's the same. So let's just save it. And you see it looks pretty much the same. It's just my name there instead of D'Angelo. Customize responsibility. While it can seem easy to add and customize objects, remember what's going on under the hood is technically complicated. Here are some best practices to keep in mind as you start customizing your own org. Be thoughtful about names. Once you start creating a bunch of objects, it can be tempting to give them lazy names. For example, if D'Angelo created another custom object to track condominiums, he might be tempted to call it property 2, what I just did, instead of condominium. That's a recipe for confusion in your org. Give your objects and fields descriptive, unique names to improve clarity. Help out your users. Even with careful naming, your users might not always be clear about the purpose of a particular object or field. Include description for your custom objects and field. For specialized or complicated customizations, use help text to give more details. Require fields when necessary. Sometimes you'll want to force your users to fill out a field when they are creating a record on a certain object. Every property needs a price, right? Make important fields required to avoid incomplete data. Some resources here. Customize your Salesforce. I guess that's helpful if you want some more in-depth information. And now we got the hands-on challenge, so let's make this a bit larger here. It's for 500 points. Get ready. You will be completing this challenge in your own personal Salesforce environment, which we got on the right. Choose from the drop-down menu and click the launch to get started. If you use Trailhead in a language other than English, set the language of your Trailhead playground to English before you attempt this challenge. Want to find out more about using hands-on orgs for Trailhead learning? Click the Trailhead's Playground Management module. Your challenge: build a custom offer object. When a home buyer makes an offer to buy a property, the brokers at Dreamhouse Realty need to track the details in Salesforce. Create a custom object they can use to record the offer amount and target close date for the sale. Use auto numbering to generate the name of each record. Create a custom object, name offered. Okay, let's do this. Go to the object manager. And it's not so clearly visible here. Custom object. And we name this offer. There should be offers. Not there for some reason. Record data type, auto number. display format. Okay, they don't have any further information about this, but let's look here. What's that? So we can understand it. It's not really clear from there, but I suppose it's just incrementing numbers from 0 all the way to 9,999, and then the OF in the beginning, which is supposed to be short for offer, I guess. Unfortunate that they don't explain this starting number 1. Create a custom currency field on the offer object named offer amount with the data type currency. Okay, let's save this here firstly. I think we need the, let's just do the custom tab with it. Like we did before. I don't really understand what's the meaning behind this, but I guess it's like the style of the tab, like the color and whatever. It's loading pretty slowly here, unfortunately. And after that we are supposed to add the field. Not all that lightning today. That was not a good idea. Maybe it's gonna load now. Okay. We're just gonna check the style. And now we have the security settings again. We're just gonna skip, because it's not like a live production environment or anything, so don't have to concern ourselves with that now. And let's create a custom currency field. So we go to fields and relationships like before, and we go to new. And we go to currency, go to next. Let's call this currency. And we're just gonna leave that. Yeah, always required. So it always needs to be input. I guess that makes sense in this case. And we save it and we add the second one, the target close date, the data type dates. So it's all like pretty simple and straightforward stuff for now. Date, field name date, always required. Next and save. Okay, we got everything. We got the date field, we got the currency, and yeah, this looks good. So let's go to check challenge to earn my 500 points. Very unfortunate that it's loading so slowly today. I'm not sure if it's my internet. I'm gonna check after the completion. Okay, we got a problem there. Okay, I made a mistake. I named it currency instead of offer amount. My bad. Fortunately, this will not deduct points, I hope. So let's go back there, fixing my mistake. Go to edit. And the field label. Field name is supposed to be offer amount. Save. Okay. There's an error, unable to access page. The value of the develop name parameter contains a character that is not allowed. Because that's the space, that is the issue. So let's try this again. Slow, unable to access page. Let's put an underscore there. Maybe that's the issue. Okay, now this is matching offer amount C, and let me check if the date has a correct object name as well, just to be sure. Yeah, named that wrong as well, so let's rename it as well. But sometimes it's good to make mistakes so you know what you did wrong. So the field label always needs to contain underscores. So target instead of spaces, and now we save this, and I hope it will work as well. Yes, it does. Loads a bit quicker now. So let's try this again. Check challenge. I hope I will get the 500 points. Yes, I got those. So it's glad that nothing was lost due to my mistakes, and let's go to tackle the next unit. Create object relationships. Learning objectives. After completing this unit, you will be able to define the different types of object relationships and their typical use cases. Create or modify a lookup relationship. Create or modify a master detail relationship. What are object relationships? Now that we are comfortable with objects and fields, it's time to take things to the next level with object relationships. Object relationships are a special field type that connects two objects together. Let's think about a standard object like account. If a sales rep opens an account, they have probably been talking to a few people at that account's company. They've probably made contacts like executives or IT managers and store those contact information in Salesforce. Makes sense then that there should be a relationship between the account object and the contact object, and there is. When you look at an account record in Salesforce, you can see that there's a section for contacts on the Related tab. You can also see that there's a button that lets you quickly add a contact to an account. You see there, this is the account, and here are the contacts associated with this account, and here is the new contact field. The account to contact relationship is an example of a standard relationship in Salesforce, but it's just like objects and fields. You can build a custom relationship as well. In the last unit, you created two objects, property and offer. Wouldn't it be great if all the offers made on a home showed up on its record in Salesforce? Before we do that, let's talk about the different kinds of relationships you can create in Salesforce. The wide world of object relationships. There are two main types of object relationships: lookup and master detail lookup relationships. In our account to contact example above, the relationship between the two objects is a lookup relationship. A lookup relationship is essentially links two objects together, so you can look up one object from the related items on another object. Lookup relationships can be one-to-one or one-to-many. The account-to-contact relationship is one-to-many because a single account can have many related contacts. For our Dreamhouse scenario, you could create a one-to-one relationship between a property object and a home seller object. Master detail relationships. While lookup relationships are fairly casual, master detail relationships are a bit tighter. In this type of relationship, one object is a master and another is a detail. The master object controls certain behaviors of the detail object, like who can view the details data. For example, let's say the owner of a property wanted to take their home off the market. Dreamhouse wouldn't want to keep any offer made on their property. With a master detail relationship between property and offer, you can delete the property and all its associated offers from your system. You see the property here, and you see the offers, different type of offer records. More on relationships. Just like in real life, relationships are complicated. Here's a bit more information to help you differentiate between lookup and master detail relationships. Typically, you use lookup relationships when objects are only related in some cases. Sometimes a contact is associated with a specific account, but sometimes it's just a contact. Objects in a lookup relationships usually work as standalone objects and have their own tabs in the user interface. In the master detail relationship, the detail object doesn't work as a standalone object. It's highly dependent on the master. In fact, if a record on the master object is deleted, all its related detail records are deleted as well. When you're creating a master detail relationship, you can always create the relationship field on the detail object. Finally, you could run into a third relationship type called a hierarchical relationships. Hierarchical relationships are a special type lookup of relationships. The main difference between the two is that hierarchical relationships are only available on the user object. You can use them for things like creating management chains between users. When you start adding relationships between objects, remember that you're increasing the complexity of your data model. That's not a bad thing, but be extra cautious when you do things like change and delete objects, records, or fields. Check out the resource section for more information on relationship behaviors. So that would be here. Maybe you can just have a quick look, because that's when it gets complicated, I guess. Considerations for relationships available in both Salesforce Classic, not available in orgs, and Lightning Experience. Lightning is what we have here. Available in Contact Manager, Group, Enterprise. Okay, the different editions. So we got everything in the Developer Edition. So that's plenty of limits and stuff. Good to keep in mind, but not relevant for now. So let's go on to create a lookup relationships. We are ready to jump back in with D'Angelo to build some relationships with the Dreamhouse app. Well, let's say Dreamhouse wanted to take a way to track users whose favorite properties on their website. This feature can help Dreamhouse Realty brokers reach out to potential home buyers. To start, create a custom object called favorite. For this custom object, create a new field with the following: data type, auto number, field label, and so on and so forth. So let's do that. We'll split screen again. Let's change those. Okay. So we are back at the object manager and we create a new object. Supposed to be a named favorite. Plural is favorites. Gender neutral. Object name favorite. I don't think we need to make this a required field, so let's just save it without the custom tab stuff, and then we are going to create a new field here. Data type auto numbers, and the first one here. Field label favorite name. Display format. Starting number one, the field name, they already inserted with the underscore, so that looks good. And now we are going to create two custom relationship fields on the favorite object. Let's first create a lookup relationship that lists the users. We'll select favorite for a property. The setup, go to object manager favorite. We are still here. Fields and relationships, we're also still there. New lookup relationship, okay. There we got the lookup relationship. Related to, choose contact. So it's supposed to be related to the contact, and that's supposed to be it. And then we are going to create a master detail relationship. That's the one here. Related to property. Choose property 1 because that's the one where I set up everything properly. Great job! Our favorite object is all set up now. Now if you look at property or contact record, you will see that there's a favorite section in the related tab. So let's look there. Sure, if you need to reload it, but anyway, we're just going to do that now. And indeed, we see the favorites one now. So here we could enter whose favorite it is. I'm not sure what the name field is for. Why is it required? But anyway, we could do that there. So now we are at the hands-on challenge. Get ready, you will be competing for this challenge in your own personal Salesforce environment. Again, we already have that open. Create relationships for the offer object. So let's go to the object manager there and the offer object here. The object you created for the previous challenge is pretty handy. Imagine how much more useful it would be if brokers could specify which client made an offer and which property the clients wanted to buy. Add two relationships to the offer object so brokers can capture this data in Salesforce. Create a master detail relationship with the property object and a lookup relationship with the contact object. Before you start, create the property object as described in the previous unit. We already did that. Challenge requirements on the offer object. Add a master detail relationship with the property object named property. So let's get right to it. Master detail relationship related to property 1 in my case, but yours should just be property. And we're gonna go to next and save this. And now we are going to add a lookup relationship to the object contact. Where do we have it? Lookup relationship related to contact. And we will just save this and see if we did everything right. Also reload this. And now we have the offers here. We can create like a new offer. So let's just try this out. Let's say the offer is 375,000. Target close date. Let's make it the end of this month. And that worked just fine. Now we got the offer name record, contact home buyer, the offer amount. All looks good, so we can go ahead and check the challenge to earn 500 points. The field property C either does not exist or is not master relationship. Okay, this is probably due to my naming. So here I think I need to delete the property object and rename the other one, and so let's figure out like how I can get this deleted. Let's delete this once and for all. Lots of warnings because there are usually a lot of interdependencies, I guess. So let's just edit this here so the naming matches, and then everything should be good. Here we go. Save. Actually, I was a little quick. There's still one number one left there. Okay, property name. Save. And then now we can try this again. Okay, interesting. Let's see what the problem is. Fields and relationship. Okay, the naming layer is still wrong for some reason, so let's just edit this. Property. Offers. And let's change that, save it, and let's check again. Sorry for the wait, but I hope it works now. And we got the 500 points, so let's tackle the next unit. Work with a schema builder. Let's make this a little larger. Learning objectives. Describe the advantage of using Schema Builder for data modeling. Use Schema Builder to create a schema for a given object model. Use Schema Builder to add a custom object to your schema. Use Schema Builder to add a custom field to your schema. See your data model in action. By now, you and D'Angelo have created a handful of custom objects, fields, and relationships. Your app's data model is starting to get a little more complicated. Schema Builder is a tool that lets you visualize and edit your data model. It's useful for designing and understanding complex data models like the one D'Angelo is building. Let's take a look. From Setup, search for and click Schema Builder in the Quick Find box. Schema Builder. There we got it. In the left panel, click Clear All. Check contact, favorite, offer, and property. So I'm just gonna use like the quick find here. Contact. There we go. Offer and property. Alright, we got those. You should have the favorite object from the previous unit. And the offer and property objects from the previous challenges. Indeed, we do so, and you will see something like this. Okay, not really, but let's make this a little larger. And okay, this is as small as it gets. Let's get these like closer together. Property author contact. Notice that you can drag these objects around the canvas, which I just did. This doesn't change your objects or relationships, but it can help you visualize your data model in a useful way. Schema Builder is a handy tool for introducing your Salesforce customizations to a coworker or explaining the way data flows throughout the system. So here D'Angelo is explaining it to Michelle. And this model seems a bit more complicated. Create an object with Schema Builder. Schema Builder is a great tool for visualization, but you can also use it for customizing your data model. For example, you can manage the permissions for your custom fields directly in Schema Builder. Just right-click the field name and click Manage Field Permissions. Okay, I'm just trying to find that here. I'll zoom in a bit. Yeah, I'm not really finding that here right now. Nope. I guess we can do that here, like set field level, security. So from that I can find it. Anyway, let's go on further. You can also create objects using Schema Builder. If you prefer, you can create objects in this visual interface if you're designing your system and want to be able to revise all your customizations on the spot. Let's see how it's done. In the left sidebar, click the Elements tab. Okay, we're gonna click that. Click the object and drag it onto the canvas. Enter information about the object. You can make it whatever you want. Okay. Test object. Plural label. Test objects. Gender neutral. And you can check if it's in development or if it's already deployed. So we're gonna check in development and let's save it, and there we got it. Your new object appears in the Schema Builder. That's correct. That was quick. Next, let's add some fields. Create fields with Schema Builder. Creating fields with Schema Builder is just like creating objects. From the Elements tab, you choose a field type and drag it onto the object you just created. Notice that you can create relationship fields, formula fields, and normal fields in Schema Builder. Fill out the details about your new fields, click Save. Okay, let's find the field type. Make this a text field. Drag it onto the test object. Test text field. And just make it 10 characters and let's save it like that. And there we have it. Zoom in a bit. You can see it here. Cool. If you go back through Object Manager, you will see your new object shows up the same way in your property, offer, and favorite object does. Okay. Let's go to the Object Manager. So we can see that there. Oh, where do we have the test one? Test object. We don't really have it there because it's a field, but we have it here. Actually, I misspelled it as text and not text, but anyway, we have it here. Alright, and let's go back, sum it up. We have learned a lot in this module. First, we talked about the data model and the database. We covered objects, fields, and records and created some of each for our Dreamhouse app. Then we talked about relationships between objects and how you can visualize your data model using Schema Builder. As you have started to dive into more advanced context, you will see custom objects and fields everywhere. Before you know it, you will be a data modeling pro. Happy building! And now we got another 500 points challenge. Get ready! You will be completing this challenge in your own personal Salesforce environment, which we already have open. We can skip this. Use Schema Builder to create a custom field for the property object. Dreamhouse brokers often visit properties with their clients. They want to see on the property record where the property is located. Use Schema Builder to add a street address field to the property object. Field data type text area. Okay, let's hide this from the canvas. And where do we have the property object? There we have it. Field type text. Where do we have it? There we go. Text. Let's drag this there. Field data type text area. Field labels. Street address. And let's make this, I don't know how many characters we need. Let's make this 200, should cover it. Always requires, so they always have it. It's always needs to be entered. And there we have it. And that was it. Pretty easy. Oh, actually I made a mistake. It's supposed to be text area, and There we have the error, so let's delete this field. Yes, I want to delete. So it was text area, I was a bit quick there. Apparently there's a difference. Guess you can look this up if you're curious about the difference between text and text area. And there, let's just copy paste this. Street address always requires save. And there we go. Let's check the challenge again. Because with text area, you don't need to define the length. It's 255 characters by default, so I guess it expands as needed or something. I suppose that's the difference. Woohoo, you've got a shiny new badge on your profile, so we have finished the data management module. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want more videos, just subscribe. I will always keep producing more. And if you have any feedback for me, just write it, positive, negative, always happy to read. Thank you so much. Have a good day.